Hey everybody, it is 4/24/24. It's a palindrome. Look that up. Palindrome is something that goes one way and it's exactly the same way the other way. But yeah, I'm here over in the Medina yard and I think I'm going to share a couple more shoestring stories tonight. They have the Unit 4000 sitting over here. But one really good memory I have of them, we were right down over there, and they had the J.J. Gonzalez Wheeling in Lake Erie unit, and it's unit number 6383. And when he was here, I didn't know too much about it, and I looked it up. I was like, what's that all about? And you can look his video up, and I have like a 2 or 3 minute video about it. But I guess J.J. Gonzalez was a former Rio Grande guy, and they brought him over after he retired from the Rio Grande. The Wheeling and Lake Erie brought him over as a consultant. And he worked, I don't know how many years for the Wheeling and Lake Erie. Ooh, it's cold out today. It's like 40 degrees here in Northeast Ohio. And that wind is, it's bitey. But, yeah, I think he passed away in like 2012, and they dedicated this this unit to him. So it, like up on the thing, it says J.J. Gonzalez, and that was the one that was here in the yard. Just so happened to be when Shoestring was here one time, and he got some videos of it. And look that one up. The last time he was here in Cleveland, or maybe the second to last time he was here. But yeah, I'll always remember that he was right over here, and we were checking that out, and pretty cool. I'm gonna sit down at home. I'm out running errands right now, and I think there's probably a couple trains coming through, or at least the one. The 291 comes from Akron and goes west that way, and it comes through about this time of day. But I figured I'd stop over here in the rail yard and tell that funny little story real quick. And when I get home, I'm going to sit down and I'll have a couple other good memories of him being around, or just some of my good thoughts about him. Because, yeah, I've been missing him. I've been missing him a lot because, yeah, I talk to him almost every day, and there's been quite the void there since he left. But this is Unit 4000, and I always like that one. That one's definitely a cool one. I don't know what that one is. SD40. I don't know, but it's painted up a little bit different than it doesn't have the big Wheeling and Lake Erie thing on the side of it. It's kind of a plain one, but it comes around once in a while. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of the cold and head home, and I'll tell a couple more stories. All right, I made it back. Oh man, it's cold out there today. Like, I think it's 41 out, and just breezy and cold and damp, and yeah, just gross. But yeah, I wanted to share a couple more fun shoestring stories tonight. I've been missing the heck out of them, and I just wanted to, all these thoughts have been going through my head for weeks now, and I wanted to just get these out there so people know them and can appreciate them. But one thing I'm really bummed about with him is I know he was so looking forward to, originally one of his buddies was going to take him, I think, to Egypt and that whole area, like right around now, like March, April-ish. And he was really looking forward to it. And then all the turmoil happened over there. And I think his buddy kind of talked him out, like, I don't think you want to go over there right now. Like, I think he might have still been going over there for business. But it wasn't any place that he wanted to take Shoestring to And I know he was bummed out about that. And that's why he got his passport, because he had planned on going over there. And so anyways, he wasn't going to do that, but he was still planning on going sometime in the next like month or two over to Europe somewhere. And he had it kind of all planned out. He was going to go to like, Italy and France and the Balkans, and then he wanted to go up to like Germany and Austria, and I guess he was telling me, and I didn't know this, but you can get a train pass. So you buy like a train pass for whatever, whatever it costs, a few $100, I think, and you can basically travel between all those countries up there. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go up and go see everything. And he told me he might not ever come back from there. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't blame you for that. But yeah, he was way looking forward to that, because he had never been over there, at least to my knowledge. Or if he has, he didn't get to like see all the stuff he wanted to see. He wanted to see like all the stuff in Rome, and yeah, he was pretty excited about that. And when he got his passport, he texted me. He's like, "Oh, my passport came today," and he was all excited about that. And one thing, and I had never heard of it before. He told me about it. Maybe I had heard of it, but I didn't know much about it. But once he told me about it, I did like a deep dive on it, and it's pretty amazing. It's called Lake Baikal, Baikal, and it's in Russia, but it's in the, oh gosh, it's in Siberia, most of it, and it's a giant freshwater lake that, and you could tell I'm retelling a shoestring story with this, because I didn't know any of these facts, but he was telling me about it, and I had to like look it up, and I did a deep dive on it and watch a ton of videos. But it's Lake Baikal, and it has more fresh water in it than all of the Great Lakes combined. And that's hard to believe, because Lake Superior is absolutely huge and deep. And so this lake is, surface area wise, it's about the size of Lake Superior-ish, but it's crazy deep. And it's I think the only freshwater lake in the world that has its own species of seal. There's a freshwater seal that lives there, and it has a ton of unique fish and wildlife that only lives in this like lake there. And it's frozen half of the year, and it never goes above like 50 degrees in the summer. But he was telling me about it, and I think it's the Trans-Siberian Railroad runs kind of right on the southern shore of it. And you can get it from like Moscow to like Mongolia, or where, like the Far East, or whatever, not Mongolia, but the Far East, like up in Siberia, and it runs the whole length of that, and it's like 4,000 miles or something. And he was telling me about it, and I watched a ton of videos on it, so look it up. It's pretty awesome. But he always wanted to go there too, and I'm like, yeah, that would definitely be one of my bucket lists, the Trans-Siberian Railroad. And after I saw what that Lake Baikal was all about, I was hooked on it. So hopefully one day I'll get up there and to get to see that, because it looks amazing. So that's a pretty fun memory of him, because he, I said in my last video, he was kind of a lot more frail in real life than he was in his videos, and he had these big plans and stuff, and I have no doubt that he had every intention on keeping them. But one other funny story, and I'll leave it at this, because I don't want this to be the Shoestring Memory Channel, but I got to get this stuff off my chest, because there's too many good memories about him that have been weighing on me. But another funny one was, I don't know if you guys know who
Steve Crowder, Louder with Crowder is. He's a political comedian, kind of like a Colbert or a, I don't know what's the other guy, Jon Stewart maybe, like that type of guy, but he's kind of right wing, like Republican, and I'm not bringing politics into it, but he's got a pretty funny show on YouTube and Rumble, and I've been watching him for years. And he's funny. He does a lot of impressions, and you can either like him or not like him, but he does bits and stuff. And one of his bits was, I think he was trying to, the point behind the bit was he was trying to make fun of like these hipsters that are out now with like the big beards, and they wear like the clothes with the holes in it. And his bit was hobo or hipster. And they would show a picture on the screen, and then everyone there had to either guess if this guy was a hobo or a hipster. So, they showed this guy, and everyone was like, oh, and he looked, like he could be a hobo, but then he looked a little too well kept to be a hobo, and people were like, oh, he's definitely a hipster, and one of the guys was like, oh, he's a hobo. And so they went back and forth with these pictures of the guys, and one of the guys that popped up on the screen, and I think Crowder has like 5 million people, 5 million subscribers, so it's a pretty big show. And one of the pictures they popped up was Shoestring, and they're like, hobo or hipster? And I can't remember what they said. I think they guessed him as maybe a real hobo instead of a hipster, which was hilarious. So I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my God, there's Shoestring on Crowder. And so I texted him, I'm like, dude, you're on Crowder today. And he's like, I don't know what that is. And I explained it to him, but it was like right over his head. And anyways, one time when he was here, I made him watch it. We were sitting in the arcade here. I'm like, dude, you got to watch the hobo or hipster thing on Crowder, and we sat and watched it, and he laughed about it. He kind of went, oh, that's kind of funny, but I don't know that he really got it, but it was pretty funny. I'm like, and then when I explained to him who Crowder was, he's like, oh man, he's kind of a big deal. And I'm like, yeah, he's a huge deal. He's got a huge following, and I think at first he just thought it was some like, some stupid channel like making fun of him. But then when he saw it and I explained like, no, Crowder's kind of a big deal, and he made it onto Crowder. And then the other funny part about that was I looked through some of the comments on that video from Crowder, and I'm sure you could look it up if you do like hobo or hipster. And some of some of the comments were like, oh, that's Hobo Shoestring. And people were like standing up for Shoestring on that, and it was hilarious. But yeah, I thought it was funny that I actually got to watch that with him here. But yeah, he didn't know quite what to think about that. In fact, I don't think he ever quite understood the reason why people loved him so much. He said that more than once to me, that he's like, yeah, I don't know what people find fascinating about my channel and all this stuff. And I told him why I found this channel fascinating is, I'm like, dude, everyone's stuck in a job with a family and a mortgage and payments, and you got to get up tomorrow to go to work, and here's this guy like living like truly a free lifestyle. And I think a lot of people want to just say screw it and like just hop a train to nowhere. And I know that was my fascination with the whole thing, is it just seems like such a free lifestyle, and it's not for everybody, and it's definitely a hard lifestyle. And he would say that too. It was like it took a toll on him, but there's something about that there's value in that. And yeah, I have a whole lot of thoughts about that. I really do. Thoughts about him becoming more famous, and recognizable, and actually having a rent payment and all the stuff that he never had for all of his life, I think it kind of weighed on him a little bit. And he said that more than once. But yeah, that just, everybody wants to just, at one time or another, I don't care who you are, you just want to say screw it, throw in the towel, and and jump on a train and just see where you wind up and just start over. And that's the life he lived. And I think that was at least my fascination with him, was just the fact that he lived that lifestyle that none of us will ever know. Well, there's people out there that do it still, but not quite like him. So, and yep, I don't think he ever really understood that, because he was always like, yeah, I posted a video and he'd tell me, it only got so many views. It didn't get as many views as some of the other ones, so I changed the thumbnail, and I'm like, dude, I don't think it matters. That's what I told him. Like, people freaking love you, man. I'm like, yeah, that maybe one thing isn't as popular as the other, but he was always like thinking about like how to make the best video and how to get, not really how to get more views, but he wanted people to enjoy what he was putting out. And I think when he didn't get as many views as he thought it should get, he was like, I did something wrong. And I'm like, no, dude, you didn't do anything wrong. You're just, you could put anything out and people would love it. And I don't think he ever really understood that, but I think we all do, right? I know I did. And I got to tell him that. And like I said, I don't think it ever really clicked with him as to why. But, and it's hard to explain why something like what he did just did click with people. I know I just told you why I thought it kind of did, is just people are kind of living vicariously through somebody that was a free spirit. And that's what he was. And God, I love that guy. I miss the heck out of him. I just about every day something will pop into my head and I'm like, oh, I got to tell Shoestring about that. And I'm like, oh, damn it. Like, That's what I miss the most about him so far. It's just, there's so many things I want to tell him, and also I'll watch something and want to tell him about it or point him in that direction as far as something that I know he would love. And I'm like, oh man, he's not around anymore. And that sucks. That's where I'm just beside myself about it still. But I really do think that he would love all the love that he's received. He would love that. He would have never thought that this amount of love would head his way, but here it is, right? And anyways, that's all. I wanted to share a couple stories tonight. I feel like I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend this next weekend, and we'll talk to you later.